His question cut through the chatter like glass shattering on marble. Is the apartment comfortable? Forks froze midair. My parents' smiles collapsed. I stared at my grandfather, trying to read his expression. Then I answered without hesitation, "What apartment?" The silence that followed was suffocating. My parents' faces drained of color. My grandfather's eyes, sharp, calculating even at 80, shifted from me to them. His smile vanished. Then, where did the money go? And just like that, the room turned into a courtroom. I grew up worshiping my parents. At least, that's what they trained me to do. They spoke often about sacrifice, how hard they worked, how much they gave up so I could have opportunities. But I noticed things. The designer clothes they bought for themselves, the new cars, the extravagant dinners. I asked questions sometimes, but they brushed me off with practiced charm. And I wanted to believe them, because children want to believe their parents. The truth slipped through cracks. College applications delayed because money was tight. My savings account always mysteriously empty. Their promises of "we're investing in your future" never materializing into anything tangible. I didn't push, not yet. I stored every inconsistency in the back of my mind like evidence in a file. Quiet, patient. Then came the birthday dinner, the perfect stage. My grandfather was a billionaire, ruthless, brilliant, and, unlike my parents, incapable of being fooled. He adored me, though, perhaps because I reminded him of himself, silent, watchful, always calculating. I didn't expect his question, but the moment it left his lips, I understood. He'd given money, to my parents, for me, for an apartment I was supposed to live in. And now, the truth had slipped into the open. I watched my parents stammer. My father tried first. "Dad, maybe there's some misunderstanding." But my grandfather's glare stopped him cold. My mother jumped in, her voice trembling. "He must have forgotten. We told him." But I didn't forget, and I never lied. "No," I said, firm, steady. "I never knew about any apartment. I've never seen it, never even heard of it." The room tilted. My parents' lies collapsed under the weight of my words. That night was the shift. The betrayal wasn't new, but the revelation was public, undeniable. They'd stolen from me, from him, from the very man they depended on. And I knew I wouldn't waste tears. I'd weaponize the truth. I started planning. Quietly. While my parents scrambled behind closed doors whispering frantic explanations to my grandfather, I prepared. I pulled bank statements I wasn't supposed to have access to. I traced transfers, withdrawals, sudden purchases. I built a trail they thought invisible. I didn't confront them. I let them dig deeper, thinking they could still salvage it. Patience is sharper than rage. 3 weeks later, I requested a private meeting with my grandfather, just him and me in his study. I laid everything out. Documents, receipts, dates, evidence so airtight it could choke. He didn't interrupt. He didn't even look surprised. He just listened, eyes burning with quiet fury. When I finished, he leaned back, exhaled slowly, and said only one word: "Good." The execution was swift. First, the financial noose. Accounts frozen, properties seized, every penny they siphoned redirected back under my grandfather's control. Then, the social blade. He spread the truth through his network, business associates, extended family, friends. My parents weren't just broke, they were disgraced. And finally, the legal strike. Charges filed. Fraud, misappropriation, theft. My parents, once proud and untouchable, reduced to defendants begging for mercy. I didn't lift a finger. I just delivered the truth and watched the machinery grind them down. The climax came at the courthouse. They approached me in the hallway, eyes hollow, faces gaunt. My mother whispered, "How could you do this to us?" I met her gaze, calm. "You did this to yourselves." She reached for me, desperation clawing at her voice. "We're your parents. We raised you." I cut her off. "You raised me to be blind, but I learned to see." Her hand fell. My father couldn't even speak. The guards led them away. Now I live in the apartment my grandfather bought for me, keys handed to me directly this time. It's quiet, spacious, a place they'll never set foot in. Sometimes I sit by the window and think about the night of my birthday. The shock on their faces when the lie unraveled. The way the truth detonated in the middle of the room. People say revenge is loud, but mine wasn't. It was a single question, a single answer, and the silence that followed, heavy enough to crush them. Final reflection. They thought they could bury me under their greed. Instead, I buried them under their own lies. And the irony? My grandfather gave me more.